Rupee stock. But moving on, there's a lot going on in the electric vehicle space. The Indian government is not in favor of extending the electric vehicle subsidy scheme, which is the FAME scheme, beyond March of 2024. However, a final decision has not yet been taken. EV subsidies, we understand, to the tune of 1,200 crores have been on hold for more than 13 EV players for close to a year now. Joining us now is a formidable player in this value chain. Rajiv Bajaj, the managing director of Bajaj Auto, joins in to talk about this and, of course, other issues to do with the company. Rajiv, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the channel.
Thank you.
There are two issues currently, right? Both related to subsidies. One is on players for not following the localization guidelines, and the other is on players for their pricing strategy. What is your view now on the government's stance on each of these issues, and how is the Bajaj Chetak placed in the light of this? Are subsidies also stopped at the moment for Chetak?
So, morning, Sonia. So the short answer to that, to your last question is no. As of now, we have not had any such adverse remark from the government. As far as these two issues are concerned, quite frankly, since I'm not privy to the specific situation of individual companies, it would be very unfair for me to comment. But in general, this is what I would say. As far as localization is concerned, if those norms have been flouted, I think one should consider to the extent to which that's been done. If it's a minor thing, then I think, given that we are all dealing with something new in very uncertain times for more than just the reason of COVID, I think one should take a practical view of that and move forward from there. If it's more than that, then it's another matter. As far as pricing is concerned, I have a slightly different view on this matter. I have not understood what the logic is for a cap on two-wheeler pricing, for example, to be 1.5 lakhs of rupees, because that is the bone of contention as I understand it. I mean, today you can buy a 20 lakh car and get a 2 lakh FAME subsidy on that, and that's absolutely fine. But I cannot buy a 20 lakh motorcycle and get a 2 lakh subsidy on it. Why? Why is FAME concerned with how many wheels there are on the vehicle? An electric vehicle is an electric vehicle. So I think the bigger issue here is that the government has, stipulated something which is becoming a problem. And I would seek, or I would say, that they should try to fix that problem. Because if indeed, and I don't know if that is a fact, if indeed some manufacturers have found a way around that, why would they do that? These are all very reputed companies. Obviously, pricing is a pressure, cost is a pressure. And I'm not saying that justifies doing something wrong, but I just don't see the logic of 1.5 lakhs. And just to finish on that, let me tell you, earlier this week, I met some very, very senior people in Delhi, government people. And in fact, they believe that this rule is rubbish. So I think if you fix the rule, you fix the problem.
The larger question, Rajiv, is can the industry manage without subsidies after March 2024, right? I mean, how much do you think the industry could get hit? Are we at an inflection point yet where even if the cost goes up by, say, 50, 60,000, it shouldn't matter to a consumer? Or are we still far out?
Well, there's several questions there. 50, 60,000 is, of course, not small for any consumer. In the last 3 years, the prices of two-wheelers have gone up by about that much, as you know, for various reasons. And you've seen how that has impacted demand. So for sure, that kind of a price increase will have an impact. Having said that, I must say that I am not a fan of subsidies of any kind. And I do not think India is going to build a EV future based on subsidies. Look at the last 30 years as an example. We've gone, and I'm talking of the two-wheeler, three-wheeler industry, from having simple air-cooled two-stroke engines to having four-stroke, four-valve, DOHC, liquid-cooled, fuel-injected engines. We've gone from BS0 to BS6. Surely that has also cleaned up the air a little bit. Otherwise, why have we done it? Now, was there a rupee subsidy offered for this? No. Look at exports. Bajaj has gone from exporting virtually nothing 15, 17 years back So today exporting half of what it makes. Has that been driven by subsidies? Did we get a 50,000 rupee per vehicle subsidy to do that? No. So I don't think businesses build R&D or exports or technology on subsidies. And I don't think, subsidies is going to help. So there's two sides of the coin. On the one hand, therefore, subsidies going away, in my view, should not really have that big an impact in the long run, because the future of EVs in India will be built on the back of sound strategy, not subsidy. Subsidy is not a strategy, and in my view, subsidy disrupts strategy, subsidy masks reality, and subsidy blunts innovation.
Rajiv, hi, good morning. What is Bajaj's, just to narrow it down to Bajaj's own strategy on the EV side, if you can explain briefly? And also, export markets, as we all know, and I think you've also alluded to it, are suffering for a variety of reasons. Would you look at exporting the electric Chetak, for example, or on the EV export side, what are the plans?
Hi, Prashant. So our strategy is twofold, to put it simply. One, in our existing business of motorcycles and three-wheelers, we are, working very hard to get the electric three-wheelers out. Basis, as Rakesh has been telling you repeatedly, what we think the consumer is looking for in terms of certain performance metrics. And I think any day now, we are ready to begin, with sales of our e-autos and e-cargos. And again, in the context of FAME subsidy, let me tell you this, that I don't know about trucks and buses, but our math clearly shows that e-three-wheelers are sustainable without a rupee subsidy, for obvious reasons, because the OPEX is very, very favorable. So why somebody finds it necessary to offer subsidies for electric three-wheelers is not very clear to me. So that's one activity we are engaged in, electrifying our three-wheeler portfolio. And the second, as you perhaps are aware, we have a subsidiary now called Chetak Technology Limited, where we have one Chetak, and it will be our endeavor over the next few years to build a portfolio of Chetaks. It's no secret that we are inspired by the kind of work that BMW has done with the Mini, or Piaggio has done with the Vespa, in creating really iconic brands and beautiful products for the world. And our effort is to, make the Chetak brand and the Chetak portfolio something like that. So we will go down that path. For both of these, India is the biggest market, as you know, for two-wheelers and three-wheelers in the world. So largely we will be focused on this market at first, till we get everything right in terms of technology, quality, cost, consumer experience. But at the appropriate time, of course, we will look at overseas markets. Rakesh has shared with you that he has 2 or 3 markets in mind for the near future, but I would not say we have any immediate plans.
All right. Hi, Rajiv. We have heard your views on the electric vehicle space, but, Rajiv, we speak to Mr. Sharma. The last time I spoke to him with regard to the Triumph, he told me, Nigel, start saving some money. You're going to be seeing it sooner rather than later. So I wanted to ask you, give us more details on the partnership. What kind of, how many models will you be launching in the next few years? Any target out there? Because, as an avid two-wheeler, I love to ride these big bikes. I've been waiting by. And I don't think we have been spoiled for choice in the last few years. So we want to be spoiled. Go ahead.
Okay. So I can put some color on that. The actual launch, I think, will be towards end of June, perhaps specifically on Tuesday, 27th of June in London. It will be a global launch that is being organized by Triumph. So what exactly is the content of that, I'm not aware. But that's when the launch might be. So I saw that program where you speculated it might be more towards the end of this year, or someone speculated, but no, it will be in June, which means we should have product in the market in the second quarter of this financial year. Clearly, there's more than one product under development. I can also say that more than one product will be launched in the second quarter if all goes well. Get your checkbook ready, Nigel.
Rajiv, it better be impressive enough. There's an Enfield loyalist biker here sitting.
Who's
Nigel.
looking out? Who's looking out for an option?
So if he's got to make that transition, it better be impressive.
Yeah, we all have to move on in life. He has to move on from the Enfield.
Okay, we're looking forward to that. A launch in London, 27th June, right? Is what you said?
I think so, yes.
Okay, all the best.
It's a Tuesday. He's also given the day. I mean, it's locked.
Are you excited, Nigel?
Absolutely excited. And as you said, Enfield loyalist, the 350 standard, has ridden the Machismo. Currently, it's the Interceptor. But I'm looking forward to this baby, and hopefully it's not going to disappoint. Checkbook's going to be ready.
All right, there's a new one coming up in 2023. Thanks, Rajiv, for joining in.
Thank you both.
Right, well, that's on Bajaj Auto and all the talk on EV disruption, on the FAME subsidies being revoked, perhaps from the government, and their new launches as well. Let's move on.